There are minds that bend. There are minds that break. And then, there are minds so unshakable, so untouchable, that the world trembles before them. Think about it. Most people are slaves to their emotions. They are ruled by fear, by doubt, by weakness. They run when life tests them. They hide when challenges rise, and they break when pressure crushes them. But what if you built a mind that does not break? A mind that does not kneel? A mind so strong, so sharp, so dangerous that it terrifies anyone who dares to oppose it. Strength of the body is admired, but strength of the mind is feared, because when a person controls their thoughts, when they master their emotions, when they bend pain into power, nothing in this world can stop them. You must understand, the world does not reward the fragile. It does not honor the weak. It respects only those who cannot be shaken. To build such a mind, you must step into the fire willingly. You must destroy illusions, embrace solitude, and teach yourself to see reality as it is, not as you wish it to be. Pain is the first test of the mind. Most people run from it, numb it, or complain about it. They see pain as punishment, as something unfair, as a curse they wish they could escape. But the truth is simple. Pain is the purest teacher you will ever meet. It strips away your illusions. It breaks down the walls of comfort and exposes who you really are. The weak search for relief, the strong search for meaning, but the unbreakable use pain as fuel. Discipline begins where comfort ends, and comfort always dies in the presence of pain. If you want to build a mind that terrifies others, you must look pain directly in the eye and welcome it, not as an enemy, not as a burden, but as the fire that will forge you into steel. Every hardship is a weapon sharpening your will. Every sacrifice is a brick in the fortress of your mind. Discipline is not born in moments of inspiration. It is born when you wake up and force yourself to act, when your body screams for rest. It is born when you push yourself to stay consistent after the excitement fades. Inspiration is cheap, but discipline is priceless. People admire discipline because they lack it, and they fear those who live it, because a disciplined mind is immune to temptation, to deny yourself, to delay gratification, to command your own desires. This is power that unsettles others. Imagine standing in a world where everyone is addicted to distraction, where everyone is enslaved by impulses, yet you move with focus, detached from comfort, unshaken by desire. That is discipline. To make your will a law stronger than any craving. Pain is what reminds you that you are alive, but discipline is what makes that life unshakable. Together they create a force that no external enemy can defeat, because when the body breaks, the disciplined mind keeps moving. When opportunities vanish, the disciplined mind creates new ones. People will always try to tempt you, to seduce you into weakness. Because your discipline is a mirror that exposes their lack of it. They will call you cold, emotionless, obsessive. But secretly they are terrified. Terrified because they know that while they are ruled by moods and desires, you are ruled by will. And the one who controls himself always controls the game. Pain, when mastered, teaches endurance. Discipline, when mastered, teaches dominance. Combined, they create a mind that is untouchable. Understand this. Pain is not something you wait for. It is something you seek. Discipline is not something you practice when you feel like it. It is something you practice, especially when you don't. The weak wait for the perfect conditions to move forward. The strong carve their way forward in conditions that break others. That is the difference between those who wish and those who achieve. Discipline is the armor that makes you unshaken by setback. Pain is the weapon that keeps you sharp when others grow soft. Together, they transform your mind into something dangerous, something people cannot predict, something people cannot control. When they see that you do not run from hardship but walk into it, when they see you deny yourself what enslaves them, they realize they are facing someone built differently. And that realization alone terrifies them. truth is, pain and discipline are the foundation of fearlessness. When you no longer fear discomfort, when you no longer crave ease, when you no longer seek escape, you become unstoppable. The world can throw storms at you, betrayals, losses, humiliation, and still you remain, because your mind is not held together by comfort but by command. Pain is temporary, but the strength it leaves is eternal. Discipline is difficult, but the empire it builds within you is unshakable. Others will see your calmness in chaos, your patience under pressure, your refusal to break where they collapse, and they will fear you, not because you have harmed them, but because your very existence proves what they could be, but aren't. That is the terrifying power of a disciplined mind, forged in pain. Focus is the most dangerous weapon in a distracted world. Most people scatter their attention like broken glass, chasing 100 things but mastering none. They begin tasks but never finish. They dream loudly but act weakly. They touch everything but hold on to nothing. This weakness is what keeps them average. It is what makes them predictable, forgettable, and powerless. Ruthless focus is different. It cuts through noise, it rejects the unnecessary, it eliminates the trivial. To have ruthless focus means you choose one target and commit to it with such intensity that nothing can pull you away. It is not simply about working hard, it is about working with precision, cutting away everything that does not serve the mission. The man of ruthless focus terrifies others because he cannot be seduced by distractions, cannot be swayed by temptations, cannot be shaken by opinion. His eyes stay locked on the horizon, his energy flows in a single direction, and his will becomes a blade sharper than steel. The world thrives on distraction because a distracted mind is weak, easy to control, and easy to manipulate. Every advertisement, every empty conversation, every pleasure on demand exists to scatter your mind and soften your discipline. But ruthless focus refuses to play the game. It does not matter if the temptation is comfort, recognition, or the approval of others. The focused mind walks past it all as though it were invisible. This is what makes focus terrifying to the weak. It reveals how enslaved they are to impulses they cannot control. When they see someone whose mind does not bend to cheap pleasures, someone who ignores what everyone else chases, they feel exposed. They realize they are trapped while you are free. This realization creates fear because they understand that the one who cannot be distracted is also the one who cannot be stopped. Ruthless focus requires sacrifice. It demands that you cut away friendships that pull you down, habits that waste your hours, and comforts that numb your edge. The undisciplined call this extreme, but extremity is the birthplace of greatness. To focus ruthlessly is to build your life around the mission, not to fit the mission into your life. It is to say no 1,000 times for the sake of one yes. People will not understand this. They will accuse you of being cold, obsessed, or detached, but what they really feel is fear. Fear of your clarity, fear of your sharpness, fear of your ability to move toward one goal without hesitation while they drown in confusion. A man or woman with ruthless focus is dangerous because they no longer waste energy. They channel it. And channeled energy creates power beyond imagination. The secret of ruthless focus is not just in holding your attention, but in directing it without mercy. It is knowing exactly where to strike, and then striking without pause until the wall breaks. It is the art of patience, the discipline of consistency, and the courage to remain on the path while others wander endlessly. The focused mind is not entertained by mediocrity. It is not distracted by comfort. It is not delayed by fear. It keeps moving, step after step, day after day, while the rest of the world wastes its time in circles. People cannot understand how you do not quit, how you do not grow tired, how you do not give up, and that confusion becomes respect. That respect becomes fear. They cannot compete with someone who has mastered the ability to focus without interruption, because most people cannot even hold their attention for a single hour. In the end, Ruthless focus is a form of power so rare that it seems almost unnatural. To see someone give their entire mind, their entire will, their entire life to one pursuit is to witness something dangerous, because focus turns ordinary effort into extraordinary achievement. Focus makes the impossible possible, because it gathers every ounce of energy and drives it into one direction until the world bends. And when people see this in you, when they realize you will not stop, you will not bend, you will not allow yourself to be moved, they fear you. They fear you because focus is the one thing they do not have, the one thing they cannot fake, the one thing they have lost in a world of distraction. Ruthless focus does not just build strength, it builds inevitability, and nothing is more terrifying than facing someone who cannot be diverted from their destiny. Fear is the shadow that follows every human being, yet most people spend their entire lives running from it. They try to hide it, to deny it, to bury it under distractions, but fear never disappears. It waits. And when life strikes hard, fear returns with greater strength, paralyzing them, humiliating them, exposing how fragile they truly are. But what if you refused to run? What if instead of fleeing from fear, you turned and stared it in the eye? What if you treated fear not as an enemy, but as a weapon? That is the difference between the weak and the unbreakable. The weak avoid fear and become slaves to it. The unbreakable embrace fear and master it. Fear sharpens the senses, it heightens awareness, it makes the mind alert like a blade in the dark. Used correctly, fear becomes the fire that drives you forward when comfort would hold you back. People believe courage is the absence of fear, but they are wrong. Courage is fear harnessed, fear redirected, fear chained and commanded. The man who feels no fear is reckless, but the man who feels fear and still advances is unstoppable. Fear will whisper of failure, humiliation, and pain, but in those whispers lies the truth of what must be faced. The disciplined mind does not silence fear. It listens to it, studies it, and then uses it as fuel to prepare and act. Fear tells you where the battlefield lies, where growth waits, where the enemy hides. To turn fear into a weapon is to understand that every great step forward in life will first appear as terror in your chest. The weak turn away from that terror. The strong march straight into it, knowing the deeper the fear, the greater the victory on the other side. Fear also has power over others. Most people are controlled by their fears. Fear of rejection, fear of failure, fear of judgment. They hesitate, they stall, they surrender before the fight begins. But when you are the one who walks into the very place they dread, when you speak what they silence, when you act where they freeze, they see something in you that unsettles them. Their willingness to stand where they collapse makes them tremble, because fear has already conquered them, yet it has failed to conquer you. This is why those who master fear inspire awe and terror. They appear larger than life, untouchable, inevitable. To weaponize fear is to stand calmly in storms that break others. To remain steady in chaos that swallows the weak. Fear ceases to weaken you. It weakens everyone else around you. To make fear a weapon, you must practice stepping into it repeatedly. Chase the things that make your heart pound. Face the challenges that twist your stomach. Walk into the situations that shake your voice. Each time you do, the fear loses some of its chains over you, and in its place grows strength. Fear cannot be destroyed, but it can be mastered, and once mastered, it becomes energy that fuels your action. Fear can keep you sharp, it can keep you alert, it can force you to prepare better, train harder, fight smarter. Instead of avoiding what frightens you, you absorb its power until what once crippled you now carries you forward. And when people see that nothing rattles you, that fear bends to your will instead of breaking it, they realize you are dangerous in ways they cannot comprehend. The truth is, nothing is more terrifying than someone who has made peace with fear. When fear no longer controls you, when you no longer hesitate under its grip, you become something rare, a human being who acts with clarity under pressure. The world fears such people because they cannot be manipulated, cannot be intimidated, cannot be stopped by threats or uncertainty. Where others crumble, you stand. Where others freeze, you strike. That is the essence of turning fear into a weapon. It is no longer something that weakens you, but something that strengthens you while it paralyzes everyone else. And once you reach that state, once fear has become your ally instead of your enemy, you do not just survive battles, you dominate them. Because the one who controls fear controls the battlefield. A mind that terrifies the world is not built on chance, it is built on choice. It is the choice to embrace pain instead of running from it, to let suffering shape you into steel instead of breaking you into dust. It is the choice to live with discipline when the rest of the world surrenders to comfort and weakness. It is the choice to focus ruthlessly on the mission, cutting away distractions and moving with a sharpness that others cannot comprehend. And it is the choice to take the fear that controls most people and instead command it, weaponize it, and use it as a force to push yourself beyond limits. These are not easy paths. They are merciless, demanding, and relentless. But that is precisely why they create a mind that cannot be shaken, a presence that cannot be ignored, and a strength that cannot be denied. The weak will look at you and call you dangerous. They will see you as cold, obsessed, even ruthless. But what they truly see is their own reflection of weakness against the mirror of your strength. The truth is, the moment you master pain, discipline, focus, and fear, you stop living as ordinary, and you begin living as unstoppable. And when that day comes, the world will no longer question your power. It will feel it, it will fear it, it will respect it. Thank you for listening, stay strong, and may life grant you the courage to build the mind that no storm can break. God bless you.